You want to reach your goals. You want real solutions on achieving success. You want your business to thrive, and you want to obtain real wealth. Well, you've entered the right space. We've got you covered. Ladies, gentlemen, and children of all ages, here's the author, the mentor, the grand poobah on obtaining wealth and all that it takes to achieve it. He is the professor, Dr. Dennis-Kimbro. And this is Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice. Brought to you by our friends at the Wesley Peachtree Group of Certified Public Accountants and Advisors.
The law of attraction is a powerful concept. It's all about knowing what you desire in this world and put it out there with the right exercises. A lot of people say, oh, the law of attraction, I'm just going to put it out in the universe, but not really practicing the law of attraction. So it's very important to also practice what you preach.
I used to tell people, I always tell people to be yourself no matter what. I don't follow crowds because you're punishing yourself, basically. It's harder to be yourself when you're around people, but it's easy to be yourself when you're alone. And a lot of the times, people don't pay attention to that. You have to pay attention to your thoughts, what you think, what you say, how you feel, everything. It starts within yourself. That's where happiness starts. That's where law of attraction starts, with yourself.
But before Napoleon Hill died in 1970, the last project he was working on was a black version of his all-time classic, Think and Grow Rich. A lot of folks out there didn't know that Napoleon Hill was writing a black version of a book that sold more than 20 million copies. And I was asked by W. Clement Stone and the Napoleon Hill Foundation to complete the book. Napoleon Hill only got 100 pages into the manuscript, and on November 4th, 1986, W. Clement Stone, who was one of the wealthiest in the United States at the time, asked me to come to his office, place those 100 pages on my lap. I was minding my business, and when he told me to finish this, I said, wait a minute, man. Come on, bro. This is the book that Hill wrote at the bequest of Andrew Carnegie. Okay. And see, the reason why I'm so excited about law of attraction, it's the first time I can tell the full story. Lord, make me the instrument of thy peace. And there are opportunities for you to show peace all the time. There I am, flying in, very rarely, but I was on Southwest Airlines coming up to Chicago. A woman right there, and she had 3 small children. And I was in the A section, and I only had, just my one ticket. And she said to me, is there any way, my kids have different numbers and everything, and they can't sit by themselves. And I told the gate agent, but they wouldn't do anything about it. And she explained to me, and I couldn't physically help her with my one ticket because they wanted to sit all together. But there's something that I could do, and I prayed. Stay miracle ready. Stay in line for divine prayer. I said, Father, this is no problem for you. Every room has a door, every door has a key, and every problem has a solution. Solve her problem. By the time I got off that plane and I looked to the right, I saw all 3 of them just sitting together. Booker T. Washington said years ago, he said, start where you are with what you have, knowing that what you have is plenty enough. In other words, your circumstances may be lacking, but you're not. You're given the same power that anybody else has been given.
Every day, not just saying an affirmation, but feeling the affirmation. See, what you bring about is what you feel about. So whatever you're feeling at that time and in that moment, it's bringing about a lot of energy to take action or add action to. Okay? So you don't want to always just take action because of what you read, because of what you saw, or what you think you should do. You want to take action that's inspired. So when you take inspired action, then you stay up to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. You're reading you're researching, you're feeling good, and you forgot all about time. So that is what it means to me. When you are able to get into those modes, then there's nothing that can stop you.
So the way that we express this, or the way that we kind of make certain that these things kind of take place, is we put out the things in the atmosphere that we want to be attracted to us. So we use the power of our ideas to send messages to the world, to send messages to the people, to send messages into our community and our environment, in hope that, in fact, the law of return is that whatever I send out, it will come back to me.
When I think about law of attraction, my goodness, I think that it is really a lifeline to connect you to your authentic self. And if you really want to know how to become the greatest person you can possibly become, it is contingent upon you learning how to connect with the law of attraction. What you think about, you bring about. So my hard lesson in all of that was that not only is it important to do affirmations, to bring to you those things that are far-reaching. So for instance, if you want a certain career or a certain kind of relationship, it's important that you start to think about what that feels like, what it how it will embrace your life. But the hard lesson for me was that law of attraction works in the reverse as well. So if you are fearful about certain things, law of attraction will bring that to you as well. And that's a hard lesson to learn. As a matter of fact, society is learning that lesson right now.
Yep.
Have it materialize.
Phase 3.
It's phase
Find folks
3.
who believe what you believe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But your words are so encouraging, very inspiring to, just keep the motivation
and that's all it is. That's all. You got the dream. One step at a time. Keep the faith, girl.
Thank you.
1986, W. Clement Stone asked me to finish Napoleon Hill's last and final manuscript. And I was a young, impressionable, unknown writer at the time. And I said, well, I need some type of financial support because I was dead broke. My wife, she accompanied me on the trip to Chicago, and here it is, early November. And if you know anything about, Chicago in early November, it's pretty cold. She waited in the car for more than 2 hours. And I told him, I said, I don't have a dime. I placed, every, dollar that I had into the project of what makes the great, my first book. And I said, Mr. Stone, if you give me some type of financial help, some type of financial inducement, I'll consider it. And he said to me, he says, no, young man, we're not going to give you any type of financial help. And here's a man who could easily reach into his lapel pocket, pull out his checkbook, write me a check for $100,000, because he was one of the wealthiest in the United States. And he said, when Andrew Carnegie asked Napoleon Hill to, spend 20 years of his life on that mission, Carnegie didn't pay him, and we're not going to pay you. But young man, hold out your hand. And I held out my hand. He dropped this medallion in my hand. And he said to me, whoever I've given this medallion to has never failed to reach their goals and objectives. That was November 4th, 1986. And, there were times that I wanted to throw this coin away. There were times that I said, I wonder if I could sell it, get some money. There were times during, that 7-year ordeal that I quit and my wife didn't. There were times in which she quit and I didn't. But if it weren't for this coin and the man above, thank God we didn't quit together. And what are the keys? The keys, you can believe, you can be, have, or do whatever you want. And it was at that fateful meeting in 1908 that Andrew Carnegie gave Napoleon Hill the keys of the kingdom. Whatever the mind of man or women, can believe or conceive, you can achieve. And what I'm excited about the magazine Law of Attraction is that mindset matters. What Andrew Carnegie passed on Napoleon Hill, and what Napoleon Hill and W. Clement Stone and the Napoleon Hill Foundation passed on to me. The bottom line is mindset matters. Mindset matters. I don't care if you're going to be an entrepreneur or a corporate climber, mindset matters. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, and what is the term for entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship, the definition of entrepreneurship is pursuit of an opportunity without any regard to the resources at hand. In other words, mindset matters. If you haven't read Steve Jobs' biography, you're not serious about being an entrepreneur, because even Steve Jobs tells you that mindset matters. He tells you there's only 4 things you got to do in order to start a business. Number 1, don't build a business, build a movement. Find people who believe what you believe. Number 2, fulfill your clients' dreams. Fulfill the dreams of your clients. What are the dreams of your clients? Well, it depends on what business or what industry that you're in. Number 3, make it easy for people to do business with you. In other words, wow the customer. Anybody can wow the customer. Anybody can do more than what is expected, more than what is required. Anybody can go the extra mile. And then last but not least, when you're not selling your customer, when you're not, face to face out there on the firing line with your business, focus in on the task at hand. In other words, work on the total craft. I show my students all the time a slide of Jay-Z, of Dr. Dre, and of Antonio Reed. And I ask them, what do these 3 individuals have in common? They all took 6 to 8 weeks out of the busy schedule to take an executive management class at Harvard. When Harvard says, 6 to 8 weeks, they don't mean you fly in, for 5 days and that weekend you fly out. No, you stay on Harvard's campus for 6 to 8 weeks, trying to fine-tune your total craft. And what does corporate America want? Number 1, they want your talents and gifts. What you bring to the table. What do you do better than anybody else? I love showing that, that little vignette from The Devil Wears Prada. And here comes this, freshly minted Northwestern grad. She wants to work, on 7th Avenue in New York, right there in the fashion district. And Meryl Streep plays that role, and she says, well, you haven't read Runway magazine, and you don't know anything about the fashion industry, but she asked her that one question. What do you do better than anybody else? What's the one thing you do that no one else can do? Because if I can find someone else who can do what you can do, why do I have to hire you? End the conversation.
And affirmations all over my house, in my bedroom, in my fridge, in my bathroom. My favorite affirmations is love. I like to do affirmations about love and giving, because if you don't have love, you have nothing. If you cannot accept and receiving love, you have nothing. My best affirmation is affirmation about opening up to receive love, so that I can give love back.
And people go out here and they look for happiness all around, and they look for it in people, and what they don't understand is a reflection of themselves.
In order to practice law of attraction, I personally meditate, because there's so much going on in the course of the day. I'm a mother. I'm also taking care of my elderly mom. I am a girlfriend. I'm, a professional, and there are a lot of things happening in the course of one day. So it's important for me to meditate, to get grounded, so that I don't take on negative energy or influences that I might get, even from my own head, that may be hindering me from showing up authentically. So meditation is key.
It is just getting up with a feel-good attitude and just knowing what it is that I want in creating my day. So as I get up and I start doing things, I start singing, I start talking to myself. And when I'm talking to myself as if I already am experiencing those things that I desire to be a part of that day. And as I do that, I start running into people at the gas station, at the malls, just happen chance running into people that are in resonance with what I wish to experience.
Your energy.
Right. Because like attracts like in the law of attraction, right? But that likeness has to be like energy. It could be negative energy or it could be positive energy. Whatever it is that you come encounter or come in contact with, that is telling you where you are right now internally.
purpose in life is to help people to live and to help people to understand how to succeed in different areas of life. People want to know how to succeed in relationships. People want to learn how to succeed in terms of having groups of people in harmony together with them. People want to learn how to be successful in their work. And then there's people like myself that are always trying to understand how to get people to work together at high levels of thought.
You've been watching Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice, produced by the Kimbro Relentless Partnership. Brought to you by our friends at the Wesley Peachtree Group of Certified Public Accountants and Advisors. Visit Dr. Kimbro at dennis-kimbro.com and explore the possibilities. And to you and yours, be blessed and always think and grow rich. I'm Vince Bailey.
Why dost thou criest unto me? So I'm saying the same thing to Black America. Why does thou cry unto me? You've got the resource. You got the money. You got the capital. Your problem isn't poverty. Your problem is that you're broke. You give your money away. I mean, when you look at the top brands out there, Wall Street would collapse tomorrow if we would just withhold our money and spend it in your community. Do what every other community does. The average dollar stays in the East Indian community for 45 days before leaving. The average dollar stays in the Asian community 24 days before leaving. The average dollar stays in the Jewish community 17 days before leaving. Average dollar stays in Black community for 6 hours before leaving.